on the Tanker Ships Vlog. I signed on to a tanker. It was running petroleum products from Lake Charles, Louisiana over to Tampa, Florida. And after just signing on, I finished my first round trip. I had to wrap my head around the fact that we were just in Lake Charles a couple days ago, and now we were already heading back. And I had to come to terms with what this voyage was going to be. Just a whole bunch of repetition. Round and round we go, baby. You know, being an American sailor, working on a ship like this, that's just jumping back and forth between two US ports, it's a pretty common thing. It's what we call a Jones Act ship. So for those of you that don't know, the Jones Act, or the Merchant Mariner Act of 1920, in a nutshell, the Jones Act says that in order to move goods from one US port to another US port, the ship has to be built in the US, owned by a US company, and have a US crew. Now that's just the gist of it, and there's a bunch of controversy and talking points around the Jones Act. But the moral of the story is that the majority of US sailors work on these ships. But anyway, after one day of transiting, we were already back in Lake Charles. And this time, we're going to be getting our bunkers. Bunkers are more or less the ship's fuel. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, we're hauling fuel, we're picking up gas, so why can't we just use that? Well, you know, the old saying goes, don't get high on your own supply. That's our cargo. This ship would typically bunker once a month, and we would get, from what I hear, like 530 metric tons of fuel. Bunkering could take anywhere from 5 to 10 hours, depending on the barge. But the nice thing was, once bunkering was complete, we were right next to our dock. So we just shifted over and started cargo operations. Knowing that this was going to be my home for the next 2-3 months, I wanted to make myself a little more comfortable. Head over to Walmart and pick up some very necessary supplies. A nice thing about working on a coastwise ship is most major ports have a seaman center that'll pick up sailors and drive them to places they need to go. Compliments of the third mate and the captain. But yeah, I just finished watch, got back to the room, my little sanctuary, home away from home. And of course, me being me, I have my bath mat, rug, And of course, my little plant, my cypress. But yeah, it's a pretty nice room. It's just have this weird quilt from some sleazy hotel, but got my hats hanging up. Nice bed. Good computer chair. Computer. TV with cable. Not a bad view. This is usually the move when I'm done work. Lay on the couch for a little bit. Be on my phone. Just kind of relax for a half hour. Sometimes a half hour turns into an hour, but that's all right. Oh, man. And after loading Lake Charles, back to Tampa we went. Except this time was a little bit of a surprise. Because this time we arrived during freaking Gasparilla. Those of you that are unfamiliar with Gasparilla, it's the pirate-themed party every year in Tampa. Imagine Mardi Gras, but with only Floridians. Let that sink in. The whole celebration is inspired by Jose Gaspar, and it's supposed to honor the invasion of pirates into Tampa. They have a parade, which is the Pirates Parade, but they also have the Gasparilla Invasion, which is a parade with boats. So you can imagine what it's like trying to tank a tanker or a huge ship into Tampa during this craziness. I never thought I would say this, but thank God the Coast Guard's here. They kind of assisted in moving all the little tiny boats out of the way and getting us into our berth. And let me go on record by saying I had zero desire to go out today. However, it's Gasparilla. It's nights like this that make me fall in love with shipping all over again. You find yourself in a random place, at a random event, with a random group of people. But as much fun as we were having, it's easy to forget that we're working on a ship, and when you're on a ship, you have no days off. Every day is a working day. So as much as you want to open up, let loose, all the things, you have to remember that we have work tomorrow. Or even we have work tonight. And just like that, we were on our way back to Lake Charles, which seemed like we were just there yesterday. Standing by watch. It's cold as shit coming into Lake Charles. Woo! It is raining out there. Holy cow. The fun thing when it rains on a tanker is during cargo operations, usually you want to keep the scuppers in. Just in case there's any kind of spill or anything, nothing's going overboard and everything's contained. But when the scuppers are in, it also means the water is going to be contained. So when it's raining, more or less, you're just walking around constantly pulling the scuppers. And just like that, we were on our way back to Tampa. And you know, ships like this, where you're not going to all these exotic places, what you hold on to and what helps the time go by is the crew and how you share your time together. On here, people played Mario Kart, watched movies, there was a ping pong table, but what the whole crew seemed to rally around was football Sundays. Everybody loved doing the football.
Pineapple Fanta?
That was pretty much the foreseeable future. Kicking ass and hauling gas. Taking it one day at a time. In the 80-something days that I was on board this vessel, I think we made 6 or 7 trips back and forth from Louisiana to Tampa. And in that time, we must have delivered hundreds of thousands of metric tons of petroleum products to Florida, having a direct impact on the economy. And that felt pretty good. Well, that and the fact that I was finally going home. If you enjoyed the video and you'd like to support the channel, please consider liking, subscribing, or sharing the video. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.